Hello ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. This video is to go over some of the changes coming and already happening on our Patreon campaign. I say our Patreon campaign because it is actually nearly 2 years since the first iteration of adding Patreon as a way to support my channels. Over the scope of those 2 years, a lot has changed. Not just with me personally in my own endeavors through life, but a lot has changed in the scope of YouTube and content creation in general. Already, the last 2 years of support on Patreon has really made a huge difference in my ability to focus on creating content. Not only has the Patreon campaign been there to support me financially enough to continue doing this, and not have to pursue a different kind of work or full-time work that would take me away from it, but also it was the spark that kind of kicked off the Cone Dodger 240 community, and that sense of community has really inspired me very deeply over the past couple of years. So before we get into any of the new stuff, I want to thank everybody who has supported over the years, current or not. Thank you for not just your monetary investment in trying to make Cone Dodger 240 a thing, but also for helping create one of, I think, the most important group of friendships that has really come to be in my life over the past decade or so. We may not see eye to eye or agree on absolutely everything. We may not always want the same things. I may not always produce the exact content that everybody wants to see, but I've never felt anything other than the community's desire for me to succeed. And honestly, that feeling is one of the most inspiring things currently in my life. Over the past few years, one of the biggest goals for myself has been to share more of my in-real-life racing experiences, in-real-life car builds, and things of that nature with everybody. Roughly a year or so ago, I had gone through Patreon and kind of reshaped it from help me create content to more of a help me fund the Project 240SX and make that into its own series and let me share that experience with everybody. That car and that project is something that is extremely important to me. Obviously, it's a huge part of my branding, it's a huge part of my life, to be honest. I will hang on to that car, and that car will be very important to me for as long as it is physically possible. So the funding of that car's project and the funding of that car's progression was something that was extremely important to me and is extremely important to me, and I was extremely excited to be able to share that growth and that experience with everybody, and probably one of the coolest things that I got to do over the past year. So what has changed? What is the different goal? What is the new sense of direction? It's not that I want to abandon the in real life stuff. I really want to focus on that and be able to push that even further. But in the past 6 months or so, I have been putting a lot of effort and a lot of just mental and physical power into creating a lot of great gaming content as well. Most of that happens to center around racing or sim racing, but that's certainly not the only goal that I have as far as content creation. It's just a thing that I think is most unique and special about the content that I create. It is something that I believe is a unique take on that field that is hard to find in modern YouTube or modern anything. It's just having the unique product is an impossibility anymore. So the new focus, the new goal is not just making videos and not just streaming and not just making content when I can work it into my life. I would love to be able to say that I can dedicate myself to doing this, and instead of using means of shady tactics to gain following, just continue doing what I've always done and making products and making videos that I'm proud of to grow a community that I'm proud of and part of, and using that as our method of growth and expanding who it is that can find and enjoy the content. I've honestly always kind of struggled to make goals for Patreon that seem valuable to you wonderful people who decide to help me out. And some of those that were in the previous iteration of Patreon actually ended up being rather difficult ones for myself to complete, either financially or just time-wise. So I've kind of reshaped the way that I look at the goals overall. So the first available goal to us would be at the $500 a month level, and that is something that is a real goal. That is a line in the sand for me financially for turning down side jobs that are not making video, the mechanic work that I do on the side, and stuff of that nature, in order to have more time to focus and dedicate on this stuff. And the reward for that would be the production of a video that I've had in my mind for quite some time, not only highlighting our Project 246, but then touring the area to acquaintances and friends I've made that have their own takes on the 240 and showing the amazing diversity of build there is in that one car's community. It is truly a very special thing, and I think that is a video that not only anybody who is a fan of me would like, but also something that I would love to share with the gearhead world out there, because I think it's something really special inside of this 240SX community that I've been part of for more than a decade. So like I said, that's a pretty high production video. It would take a lot of time, and I think if we're able to get that level of commitment towards making sure I can focus on just doing my retail slum job, and then everything else is doing this, then I have the available resources and time to make that video and share it with everybody. So the next available goal would be at the 750 mark, and this one's kind of a midway point between the 500, able to buckle down and focus in my free time on doing video, to doing this as a full-time thing. So at this point, the reward that I have figured out to do is something of the gaming variety. And this is another idea I've had floating around in my head, just kind of waiting for the right opportunity and, frankly, to have the right amount of time to do. And that is an actual automation, a game that is super important to this channel and to me. An automation marathon live stream where I will do either an entire light campaign or do an entire, do every scenario in the game that's available, depending where the game's development is at the time of completion. But it would be a very long stream where we would do a very large block, a very huge task, all in one sitting, and it would be something unprecedented. It's something I would have never done before. The next one up is, as you could probably predict, the $1,000 mark, as the 750 was the halfway mark. The $1,000 mark is the big one. It is a huge commitment thing, and there is actually no set prize for this one. There's no bonus anything. The bonus is, at the moment $1,000 hits, at the moment that happens, I'm done. I quit. It's over. I am leaving. I am out of here. No more crappy retail job that has been depressing me and crushing me for the past 10 years. I'm over with that. I live a slim and restricted enough lifestyle that I can make this work and live off of that income for as long as possible and fully dedicate myself to making and creating content, streaming, touring, and finding new creative, awesome ways to share motorsports, grassroots motorsports, and that kind of stuff that I'm passionate about with everybody. So it's not so much a small prize as it is the full unleashing of my potential in this field. Would it be tough? Would it be a struggle? Would it be a strain to make that happen, to make it work? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And I understand that fully. But I'm so committed to making this work, to making this dream a reality, that I just have it in my mind that I can make it happen. I will make that work, and it's going to not only be that, that is the grand finale, but that would be the start of a whole new chapter and a whole new sense and direction and growth and twirling towards. Oh, sorry, that's a Kurt thing. I can't say that. But you know what I mean. It would just be the start of something great. Beyond that, if we were able to keep pushing forward and keep pushing the support even higher, if we were able to make it to 1,500 a month, that's at the point where I could actually start to live a pretty normal, comfortable life and be able to really focus on the content. And some of the stuff that I have in mind to do at that point involves making actual full produced videos on in real life car stuff. So either traveling to races and showing and documenting different forms of club and grassroots racing, taking part in things like that myself and vlogging or showing and documenting my experiences, filming and producing entire car series where instead of getting little snippets along the way where an actual entire car build is done behind the scenes and then released as an actual series. These are the things that I dream of doing. These are the things that I can only dream of doing because I just simply don't have the time, equipment, or financial stability to be able to pull off such large production things such as that and be able to take on projects that would push the content to a different level, to a higher standard or higher level. So those are the goals that we have on Patreon, but there's a lot of other stuff that goes with that too, not necessarily related to the goals. Should you decide to support on Patreon, many people do this in many different ways, and that's the great part of it. People can do whatever works for their content. Because of the way that I have mine set up to mainly be a means of support for creation, the rewards that we have for different levels are mostly tied to non-monetary things or not significantly monetary things. So there's less in the way of sending merch or things like that, and more just kind of personal acknowledgement kind of things. So if we go through here at the $1, which is the minimum, and $1 is extremely helpful. They all add up and they all add together to help out for the greater cause. And it's probably honestly the thing that I think is most important and one of the biggest and best things that has come from the Patreon campaign, and that is Discord access. The Discord that we have and the group that we have on Discord is very awesome. I am highly interactive with it, probably too interactive with it at times, when I'm chatting with everybody when I'm supposed to be, working at a job. But it's very great. It's an awesome way to not just talk about content, not just talk about videos or what's happening in the videos. We talk about everything. We talk about car stuff a lot of the time, what random stuff we're finding on Craigslist, all sorts of stuff. Current racing events or just current events. It's a very awesome and great community. And once you're a part of that, you also get to be part of the game nights that we have. So, say if we're playing Wreckfest, well, the server is available to everybody on there, and you can jump in the voice call when we're having game nights and stuff like that. So yeah, that will and truly is one of, I think, the coolest perks of becoming a patron. Anything more than that is very much so appreciated, and it just kind of is recognition for your added support. So $5 is Cone credits, and that means that in any of the Cone's Garage videos at the end slate, there is a special thanks to all of the patrons for making that happen. Because it's true. If it were not for the amazing support on Patreon, that series and those videos would have been something I never would have been able to do, as well as the gaming content, which is great. And I definitely appreciate everybody in the Cone's credits category. Above that, you would go to the sponsorship level, which is the stickers add horsepower thing. Wish I had a blip shift sticker handy. I bet you I do. See? Stickers add horsepower. 5 horsepower from a sticker. So you could add horsepower to our projects at the $10 level, and that is just a little bit more recognition. So your alias or your screen name or your name, whatever you would like, you will just message me on what it would like to be, and that will be featured not just in the Cohen's Garage credits, it will also be featured on my current iRacing, Assetto Corsa, whatever big sim racing series car that I have. It'll be on that car, as well as it will be written on the whiteboard inside of the Cohen's Garage headquarters, which sounds so official and fancy when it's really actually just a garage. But it will be there for everyone to see that you are incredibly awesome and really amazingly supporting the series that we're doing. $20 is the actual official tangible holdable things category, and that is a postcard thanks. I previously had this tier as just a postcard, a single postcard for being at this level. I have decided to change that because I really loved sending out postcards. I liked seeing people receive them. That was really cool. I enjoyed that thoroughly. So for this point forward, I'm going to make a schedule of every 3 months sending out postcards to everybody who's at this level at that given time. We'll be getting postcards, and they will be unique postcards. So instead of everybody getting the same one, everybody might get different ones. They may be postcards, like real, actual purchased postcards that I find in towns that I'm visiting for racetracks or space flights or whatever it is that I'm traveling for, because I would love to do more traveling. That's a huge part of this. And yeah, I think that would be really cool if I could find real custom postcards or just real in the world postcards, and they will be more personalized towards the person as well, towards the recipient. So that's what we're doing with the postcard thanks. Real racing sponsorship is the next one, $50 or more a month. That is an incredible amount of support, and it blows my mind that there is actually people out there who are willing and able to support people like myself and my friends who also do this kind of stuff and are on Patreon. People are out there to help support at this level, which is truly amazing. And you get kind of something that I think is pretty cool if you are into racing. And if you aren't, we'll make it seem pretty cool. And that is you get an actual vinyl decal sponsorship on the 240SX, which is the car that I use in public autocross events and hopefully even bigger events in the future. But you get an actual decal on the car at this level. We've had a few of these in the past, and I think people generally really enjoyed seeing their stickers on the car. It's not a huge decal. You're not getting the whole door. Red's a very pretty car, okay? We're not going to just slap it full of huge decals. But along the back window, there is a spot that I've dedicated to adding names or whatever you would like, any kind of text you would like there, or small decal or logo I could get made to put on that part of the window. So that would be at the $50 or month. And there you kind of have it. That is our Patreon. That is what is involved with it, and I hope that that was somewhat succinct enough that you were able to consume all of that information in a somewhat sane manner. Can't thank everyone enough who has helped over the years and helped, and anybody who may plan to help in the future. It really does mean a lot to me. I'm sure you hear that all of the time, and I've never seen somebody with the Patreon campaign that just doesn't seem very genuine and very, very thankful for your support. But this is kind of the future of this kind of media. It's just the way it happened. It's the way that things went. And if you're very passionate about keeping this kind of media relevant and possible for people to do, support in this form is extremely important. So I appreciate you not just supporting me, but supporting anybody on Patreon, especially for content creation stuff. It is extremely important, and I appreciate you immensely for even considering it. But it is worth saying, if you're out there not financially able to support myself or anybody in a actual monetary way, don't worry. Don't feel bad. There's so much you can do and so much already are doing. If you are watching this video and have watched to this point, you are already an extremely important person to this community because you're that dedicated to wanting to see this kind of content continue and wanting to see my content continue. So if you're that dedicated of a viewer, if you help out in other ways, just interacting, just watching ads or giving bits on Twitch or whatever you can do to help out, either monetarily or not, you are still an important member of the community, and I'm still extremely thankful and grateful for your support. I do this campaign on Patreon because it's the only way that is available to me right now to make this actually a thing, to make this dream come alive, and to help push us further. I want this to go even further than it has before. I want it to be not just for me personally something that can grow and become an actual job, but I want that for everybody else too. All of the people who have supported me and wanted to see me succeed in the past, I want that validation for them as well, because it means a lot to me that everybody that I've come across believed in me and wanted to support me in this journey, and I just want that to continue, and I want it to be a thing. So thanks for your time and watching this. Thanks for your support if you're already supporting, and thanks for your support if you're going to support in the future. And I hope to see you around the community.